What's up, guys? I'm here today. I'm gonna do a little recap of what I've been doing for the last few months. I've been playing a lot of Path of Exile recently, and I feel like I've accomplished a lot for this league that they had going on for the last few months, and I kind of want to share that with you guys today. So I'm gonna open you guys a video here of my stream last night, just showing you guys a quick GRANDMASTERS run that I just opened up. This is with one of my most recent builds. This is an explosive arrow iteration. It's, in short, you could call it a Zerafi's explosive arrow build. It is probably the fastest clearing GRANDMASTERS build in the game right now that I know of. Here I miss a mob, but a lot of times you just clear them. So I didn't go out and find my fastest run ever. This is just a random run. I shit you not, I just picked any random one and just found the beginning and started it up. But you see here, this is very, very fast. Anybody that's really experienced with PoE and GRANDMASTERS, you can understand how long this dungeon can take you sometimes. Most builds can't even do it. I would say probably 90% or more of builds can't even clear this dungeon. It's impossible for their build. They would have to make serious changes and be a completely different build at the end of the day, and in order to get this done. It would take so much investment, it wouldn't even be worth it. This is like a 5C map. You just buy the map, give it to me, and I'd run it for you, for free. So that's usually what people side with, is just getting other people to do it for them. And I mean, that's what I did as well at the beginning of the league. There's no point. Anybody that's doing this, just give them a map, pay them like 10-15C or whatever, and get it out of the way. A little bit about this build is, you see the flasks. For this dungeon, I'm running Adrenaline suffix on the Quicksilver with Alchemist prefix in order to go fast, And then I have an Anti-Curse Onslaught in order to go even faster. I'm using Divination Distillate, and with the synergies of like Mind Over Matter and the way they changed how Righteous Fire degens your mana now, same thing as Blood Rage will degen your mana. They didn't have that in the past, where you couldn't do this in prior leagues, so this build is enabled because of this league pretty much. It did not work in the past, which is really, really cool. Really cool. Same thing with Zerafi's Divination Distillate. It wouldn't be viable in the way that it is right now, unless you were juggling your health in the past. Like, you could do it in the past, but you'd have to be juggling your health. Really, really annoying. And then last but not least, obviously I'm using Dying Sun for the extra 2 projectiles, but with this build, it's a Pathfinder and it's running Conqueror's Potency to get up to 50% or higher flask effectiveness. So because it gives you 2 projectiles, 50% of extra effectiveness, that's an extra projectile. Along with all of the other flasks, they're also getting that flask effectiveness, and there we go, that's the end of the run. Very, very fast. Very, very fast. And I kind of want to go over this build because I want to start at the end here. This is where I've made it to. This is kind of a PvP build. And I named it OMG Broken Build. Absolutely funny, but here are a few of my characters. I did an Orabot to 100. I did a Wander to 97. I kind of just stopped it there. I didn't really feel like going on anymore after that. Did this build up to 100 just recently. This is my most recent 100. This is a EA build. It was just a normal traditional EA build, kind of like Righteous Fire, how it regens and runs blood magic in order to cast its spell, and it regens the health back, and it uses health pots. Well, I felt that the build itself was really, really weak in comparison to what was being utilized at the time, and what's being utilized at the time is more of like what you just witnessed, how fast this build runs. And what it does is it heals roughly around 44,000 health per second, and I'll show you more about that in a little bit, and why I named it OMG Broken Build. Why I think it's so strong is because of just the level that it can get up to in comparison to everything else that's available in the game. I did an Occultist, Death's Oath, Blight, EA. I brought this up to top 10 in 1v1s on the US. I'm probably going to try to hit this up on some EU servers too soon, because I see a lot more chaos-related builds in the EU doing pretty good. So I'll try that. It is heavily countered by CI though. Only thing it really has is to deal with that is Scorching Ray, which means pretty much half the CI builds just pop you. This is my normal league starter that I did last league. Totems, Sunder into totems, and then dual War Chief totems with like Azuri's Disfavor. It's really strong for just about anything, any boss, clears everything. Does my Shaiulas for me, that's pretty much all I use it for at the moment. And then doing bosses for other people. This was my first map flammer. I did Sunder into Flicker Strike, and it got me so much early game advantage. Because right after I did my Uber Labber, I transitioned into this, and it was so good for Harbinger, because when you get Inspired Learning and you get like Headhunter, like the buffs that they have from Harbinger packs are absolutely insane. You get so much from it that, honestly, if you guys missed out on this build, there is a build guide on the forums that has a huge following on it already. Absolutely crazy how many people enjoyed this build, commented about this build, tried this build, or had questions about it. It was ridiculous. It was amazing. I honestly fell in love with this build. I definitely want to do it again early in the league. I really think it is strong early in the league, and it falls off later in the league to other things, because you can get so much more out of your build if you have access to everything. But this build is so good when you have access to like nearly nothing. So I definitely recommend checking this build out for early game, or if you're like new to the game. It's very strong, just all around content, clear map farmer. It really good. You could swap it up, and I've seen Flicker Strike beat everything pretty much except Azuri. But really, I mean, if you can clear everything in the game besides Azuri, that's a really good build. Horrible in PvP though, so I would stay away from probably all of these builds except the Occultist and EA, really, to be honest. Then I did this. This is a really weird build. I was trying to do like Totem Wander. I tried different totems. I tried the Scion Wander. It really wasn't that good. I ended up swapping all my gear over to this Wander, and this was my main map clear. I must have farmed like 10 plus doctors on this character alone. But what I really want to show you guys is this build here, and go into this more. Now that I kind of gave you a recap of my history of the game, where I've started, where I went through the builds I've played already. This build and my other level 93 Pathfinder, I brought them both up with this gear here to top 10 in EU and top 10 in NA on 1v1 PvP ladder. Yesterday I just started doing EUs, and I was unranked on both this character and the other character, and they're both in the top 10 right now for the 1v1 ladder. And it's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I want to go into it right away. Right off the healing, the major thing about this is instant health. The way that it gets instant health, just want to get it down a little bit and show you guys. I'm going to pop Zerafis, and I'm going to attack one time. With one attack, I heal nearly my whole health bar. Just a little bit less than my whole health bar. So I'm going to go way down, 2 attacks, full health bar. Full health from 2 attacks. Now, what you can get from that is that I'm attacking 8.2 times per second. And with this up, I'm attacking up to 9 times per second with all of these up. I don't always use the Silver Flask. The majority of the time I'm in like PvP, I'm running something more like this. And I'm more attacking like 8.8 times per second. And that's more reasonable. But if you pop out a calculator and look at the mana cost, I'm at 456 mana cost, and you multiply that by Zerafis. Zerafis says, skills used during Flask effect grant 800% of mana cost as life. So if you multiply that by 8, you'd get 3,600, which is obviously wrong. I've healed more than that. I've just demonstrated that, right? If you multiply that by 12, because the flask effectiveness, I have over 50% flask effectiveness. You have to add 400 to this. You'll see that I'm healing about 5,400. A little bit more than that because I think I have a little bit higher than 50% flask effectiveness. But over 5,000 every time I attack. If I'm attacking 8.8 times per second, I'm at 48,000 health per second gain. That's an unreachable number in this game. You cannot possibly get that kind of regen. You might be able to get some kind of shield recharge build to get that kind of regen, but honestly, it doesn't even compare. It really doesn't even compare. Because you're attacking, as long as you're attacking, you're healing nearly 50,000 HP per second. If no other modifiers even affect this. There might be other modifiers that are in here that are affecting this, like healing gained or whatever, right? Or like health gain, health income. Any kind of like modifiers in your tree or some kind of like anything, really. I do not know what else affects this number here that we're looking at, but this is an insanely high number. With only 8,000 health, if I'm healing 48,000 per second, you either have to out DPS this heals per second, stop me from attacking, or do more than 8,300, HP in one hit. And obviously you can stack this up more and get this higher health using things like combs, using different ring setups and whatnot, and different gear setup. And I mean, I have crafted HP on both these rings. And I mean, you can get higher. You can get way over 10,000 health. That means you have to deal 10,000 health in like in an instant, in order to kill this build. So in PvP, this build has such a high application. I prefer personally I think it's fun to use Belly of the Beast. I bought a +1 max res 6-link Belly of the Beast recently, because I think it's fun. There's just there's a lot you can do with links in PvP, and I personally, what I found out is Flame Dash with cast and damage taken is very, very good. A lot of the builds in this game are like reliant on you mispositioning for just a split second, and they'll take advantage of you and kill you. Even mine. My build isn't a build that takes advantage of you for mispositioning for a second. If you stand right here, you're dead. Instantly, you're dead. That's just how it is. Right? If you misposition and stand here, you're dead. But with Flame Dash, it will save you and propel you towards the target, which has a lot of advantages, because a lot of your cast and damage taken or your glove enchantments from Uberlab, a lot of the times that is really good when you're right next to somebody. So what that kind of means is it just offers a lot of counterplay. That's why I have a lot of gems to counterplay, a lot of flasks, and a lot of different setups like cannot be knocked back Home's Hearts and whatnot in order to counterplay certain builds if I want to play around with that. And I'm still experimenting, I'm still learning the build. There's a lot to learn in this game, and if you frequent my stream, you would probably have heard me multiple times say that this game is not like rocket science. Rocket science is easy, this game is not. This game is probably the most advanced. It is the most advanced game I've ever played. Not probably. It is the most difficult, the most entertaining, and the most challenging game I've ever played in my entire life. It takes so much work, practice, knowledge, skill to play this game. And a lot of people would argue, otherwise, but just the things that I've seen in the last year of playing this game so far, I have never encountered this much challenge and this much just puzzling, puzzle fixing, things like that. I've not experienced that in any game I've played in my life so far. I've had games that are very good and very close and a lot of fun, but Path of Exile has definitely surpassed my expectations. I thought it was going to be a lot less than it was, but I'm very happy with it. coming down to this point, I feel like this build isn't even the answer yet either. Like, a lot of people are like, nerf this build, it's so bad. I mean, it's so bad for the game, it's so OP, all kinds of things like that, all kinds of complaints. And I mean, they're not wrong. This build is very, very overpowered. It's very strong, but it's not the best. I have an idea for what the best would be, and it would be something very, very similar to this. The gems are attack speed based, and the thing is, I need to teach you the whole build. The attack speed and health, and then like AoE damage, proj damage, burning damage, anything that just scales explosive arrow is fine. Burning damage is obviously not that good. Damage over time really isn't that good. You're not trying to scale that kind of stuff. You're really trying to scale the WED and the initial hit of it. So I have chance to ignite for more fire damage, not really for the chance to ignite itself. It's just I ended up getting this on here and I didn't really want to change it too much. Chance to ignite is a good, strong gem. It helps out against other builds. It doesn't really help out against EA because you can't really ignite Pathfinders, but that's besides the point. One of the key jewels that I didn't even know about until the other day was Fervent Mind increases the mana cost of your skills by 100%. Well, I had no increased mana cost, so when I took this out, my mana cost was only 228. So putting that in is, it's even though it is an increased multiplier, it is a more multiplier because it's the only increased multiplier that exists for my mana, so it is directly doubling my mana right there. If I added another one, however, it would only add 228 more mana to the costs. Which, this mechanic is where I want to get into of what I think could be the better build. Even though this is probably the most represented build in the game right now for 1v1 PvP, top end, like top 10, top players, the people that have the most money, or the strongest characters, the strongest accounts, I think that there's a better build. You could stack 2 or 3 of these, maybe even just 2, and do a very similar build, very similar pathing, except do like Fireball or Magma, or preferably probably Fireball, but obviously that's a spell. And the thing is about this build is like, you actually want spell damage. Because your cast 1 damage taken will only support spells. So if you have no spell damage, then you have no increased multipliers. If you have no increased multipliers in your spell, then if you add 50% increased multiplier, you're actually adding it as a more multiplier. This game, what I've noticed, is just like a lot of other games. It's about relativity. You can't ever in your life have too much of one thing. You can't ever have it, or it's a bad thing. If you have just the right amount of something, and you have a mixture of like a little bit of everything, that's usually going to be what the best possible solution is. Now, a lot of people in this game just go into twinking and they just hardcore slam one stat. And I mean, it's strong and it gets the job done, but it's nowhere near top, like what they could possibly pull out of their build a lot of the times. They could try and, mix and match attack speed in or cast speed or whatever their build is going for. Mix and match a nice balance of everything, and they'll have a much stronger build at the end of the day. But what I really, really want to go in on this build is the Fireball build. If you stacked cast speed and you stacked all of this, your cast 1 damage taken links would be increased a lot more, right? And it's really hard for an EA player to like invest into all these different things and then also invest into spell damage, and there's no point really, except your cast 1 damage taken link. So I think you just take away this quiver, you take away this, and at face value with Zoph's Blood, everything's going to translate into fire. So you can stack fire damage, and you can stack projectile damage, area damage, all this stuff, cast speed, spell damage, and you would have a better build. You would have a build that would kill my build easily. But people don't have the time or the resources in order to invest into this yet. I assume if by next season, if Xeraphis doesn't get nerfed, you'd probably see a lot of Fireball builds coming out in the PvP Sarn Arena kind of scene, 1v1 scene as well. It's absolutely probably the scariest thing that would be coming out. But enough about this build. I want to go show you guys and do a whole season recap. I want to show you guys my last build. So this will be an Occultist. It is a Death's Oath, Blight, Essence Drain, Occultist. And it's max block at times. At other times, it's not max block. When my potions are down. So, off the bat, I have 55 with the staff on. 55 block, attacks and spells. With pots, I'm spell capped. I'm attack capped with the staff up. This staff is mostly for recharging. So, you have a 20% chance to start your energy shield recharge when you block. So, if you have max block, and you block every single hit that's coming in, you can start your energy shield recharge. Energy shield recharge is not interrupted by damage if recharge recently began. So against a lot of builds, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be trying to block one hit from afar, get behind cover, wait for my recharge to start, or if my recharge did start initially from the RNG proc of this, I'm going to swap weapons, lightning warp in, and blight them down. Against some builds that aren't ranged or that are like trappers or whatnot, you have Essence Drain to kind of just fire at choke points. So you don't let them come in, and if they do come in at you, you pop your potions, you get max block, you go in and try and blight them. And with the extra damage from Oath, the new Arcane Surge support, you can actually create a pseudo link. You need 5 off colors for Death's Oath, and you need these exact gems: Swift Affliction, Efficacy, Less Duration, Arcane Support, Void Melee, and Concentrated Effect. The build enabler change to this league this season is that Arcane Surge support got implemented into the game. This did not exist last league. It could not be done, which completely changed the game. And it's so strong. It's so strong. Like, let me just show you guys in Sarn Arena right now. I'm so confident with this build. I can go into Sarn Arena. It is a Sarn Arena daily day. And I can go in here against pretty much anybody. And that guy just jumped on me and instantly died. This is how strong this build is. It does so much passive damage just instantly. Watch how fast this guy dies, and I do nothing. I'm just using my chest piece. Less than a second. Can you help me do daily? I'm sorry, guy. I'm sorry. I'll leave. But that's what I mean is you almost have to be Chaos Inoculation in order to make this build work. In this meta right now, where it's just a life-based meta, so many players are playing life. This build absolutely wrecks. And like I said, I brought it up to top 10. I think it's like 11th right now or something like that, and my level 100 EA build is like 5th or something. I don't remember. You'd have to tune into my stream either or watch my VOD from yesterday, which would be the 8th of November. If you watch that VOD, it's a pretty good VOD. I did a lot of PvP that day, a lot of practice against the top player in the game, top players. Had a lot of duels with some of the best players in the game right now, the best builds in the game that are currently invested in. Then I kind of want to go into my economy from here. Showing off my 2 favorite builds for PvP right now, but I want to go into my economy. Right off the bat, like I said, I did lab and I did maps with my totem character and rushed maps really hard, and then I swapped over into a map farmer which was my Flicker Strike Slayer that I got up to a level 100 with. That build made so much on margins, and that's what I wanted to get into, is margins. Margins in this game, I did a lot of trading in this game, and I do a lot of help with teaching people how to trade on my stream. So if you guys are interested in learning how economy works in this game, or it's kind of like a stock market in a way. It's it's kind of like a watered down version of a stock market. Or it's very close to it. It's very close to the stock market in general. Prices do fluctuate based off of demand and everything like that. And you kind of have to predict that. So by no means am I saying like this is the most money ever or whatever. But for 41 exalts, this is just extra spare money that I have for nothing. I can do whatever I want in the game. I can buy whatever I want in the game, and it's just nice to have that luxury, that freedom. And like, one thing I haven't showed you guys yet is how expensive my wander is. This is about a 60 exalt wand. This is a perfect Bisco's, about 20 exalts, or give or take, that I volled straight up. I bought it right away and I volled it. I bought this for about 20 exalts, but I really haggled for the guy for about an hour. I haggled with him back and forth, and he gave it to me for 22 exalts, something like that, which I think is a really good deal considering that it's a triple T1, T2, T2 with a T5, which is about crafted value of life on there. This is absolutely the best accuracy, attack speed, evasion shield for wanders in the game right now that I've seen. There is nothing that competes with it. Like if I was to look up the normal mods right now, take out this, take out this, and do pseudo res instead, just because it could be any res and it'd still be good. And if you even look on offline, I've looked on standard and I've looked on offline, on standard and on Harbinger, and nothing ever comes up that's anything close to this. This, I don't know how much this is, but it is a very pretty penny. I probably wouldn't let it go for anything less than 100 exalts. I don't know how much these boots are, but 30% movement speed with those kind of stats, attacks, movement speed if not hit recently. With the evasion, you don't really get hit that much. I made these myself. I don't think they're that expensive, but with +1 socketed gems, I like them. +1 socketed 6-link Queen of the Forest. I do have a better one, but I'm trying to sell that one. I actually, at the moment, have the best Queen of the Forest on the market. And by no means, I'm not trying to make this as like a brag video. I'm just trying to show you guys, like, I have merit in this game. I know what I'm talking about. I know how to work with the market. I want to show you guys these things. I want to show you my evidence first before I start making videos of trying to educate people. I really don't like to make videos unless I'm confident with my ability in the genre that I'm making videos in. I don't want you guys to think that, oh, this whatever, Additional barrage, Rat's Nest is like 40x, and KB, I swap between them and swap my 6-link around and whatnot. Headhunter, obviously, that's the cheapest thing on the out of all the gear. No, I'm just kidding. But with the Wander build, it has definitely made me a lot of money. Conqueror's Potency, just like every other build that's Pathfinder pretty much should have. The flask effectiveness getting up to 50%, get the extra projectile from Dying Sun, get the extra conversion from Victors. Actually, this build doesn't even work without the flask effectiveness, because I'm doing a physical conversion Victors, because I'm doing a Fizz Wander, which is pretty unique, kind of anti-meta, but it is very strong. Like I said, this build made me the most money out of all my builds. It also costed me the most money out of all my builds, but it was a lot of fun to level up and to use for farming. I like it. I haven't wrote a guide for this, but my profile is public. I'm not really trying to hide anything or any of my strats. Definitely can try them out yourself. But what I'm trying to show you guys is kind of like the value that I've created, the work that I put in. I feel like I understand this game a lot more than I have in the past, and I just kind of want to share that knowledge and give back the knowledge, because I mean I didn't earn this knowledge myself. I had a lot of people in stream. A lot of people are going to be like, oh, Bomber only has this viewers or this many viewers or that many viewers or whatever. Every single one of those viewers, regardless of whether it's 1, 4, 10, a few of those guys, they know so much about this game, or they just know so much just in general in life, and they've helped me so much that I can't even, I don't know how to describe it. They have taught me so much in so many games. I've learned so much by streaming from other people coming into my stream. It might be random people, it might be regulars, it doesn't matter. Especially the regulars, thank you so much to them. You guys taught me so much in such a short period of time. I don't think that there would be a possible way that I could have done what I've done in the amount of time that I've played this game. And I mean, I feel like I'm at the top of the game. I probably am one of the most wealthy people on the server in Harbinger League. I mean, I'm obviously not like a trade bot, so I'm not the richest, and I'm obviously not the most dedicated person, so I don't have the most of this or the most of that, but I'm up there. I have so much, and I have to give it to stream, you know. The few people that stick around, I learned so much from you in chat just on an everyday basis, and you know, I try to share that back out. I try to put that back out. I try to give where I've you know, gotten, you know, got to give back. And I do that every day pretty much. Every day I answer questions on stream, and I try and help out as much as I can. Whether it be in guild chat, whether it be in whispers, or whether it be, you know, right over stream directly in the chat. But I definitely am thankful, and you know, this video is my season recap. I haven't made a video in a long time because I did feel like I was learning. I was educating myself. I was working up to this point where I could release this long video. We're already up to half an hour. I wanted to release a nice long video that recaps, gives a lot of information of what I've learned over a long period of time. If in 30 minutes I can teach you what I've learned in the last couple months, you know, that's so much better for content in general. For me personally, to release that than any other way that I could have possibly been making content, like on YouTube or streaming in general. But we are getting pretty long. I do appreciate you guys watching this YouTube video. I do appreciate you guys coming out here. I would hit that sub button, hit that follow or whatever, come over to my stream, do whatever you want, whatever it's chill, whatever's relaxed for you, whatever it is meets your guidelines. But I do stream every single day, and I've learned a lot of this stuff through stream. The majority of it through stream, through viewers, through, you know, people coming by, me asking questions, other people asking questions, sparking curiosity and getting better at this game. Because this game is hard. This game is extremely hard. There are things in this game that no one has ever figured out still. And GGG, the developers that made this game, they've announced that. They said there are so many things in this game. There are multiple things that no one has even done yet. Like vendor patterns exclusively. They said that, I think what they left out, they kind of said that there are things in the game. They didn't say how many things. But there's a lot to learn in this game, and there's things still to figure out, things to see. There's changes being done, so I'm very happy. Very happy with it. Appreciate you guys coming out. You guys have a good night. Have a good day.